Hello and welcome to Mind the Flat. I am Amy Isles and I'm joined by
Tom Crowther
and Chris Heffernan.
And this is our Christmas Crackers episode. It's our Christmas special.
Woo!
I blooming love Christmas. I'm so excited for this episode. So today we're going to be talking about all things Christmassy, best parts, not so good parts, traditions, everything exciting about Christmas. And you can probably tell from the tone of my voice how much I love Christmas. And I don't know how many times I mentioned Christmas in that last sentence, but it was a lot. So on we go. So we're going to start with everyone's best Christmas song, a topic of much debate among friendship groups. So let's kick off with Mr. Heffernan.
Okay, this has got to be Shakin' Stevens' Merry Christmas, Everyone. I just think it's brilliant. I just think it's hands down, absolutely blooming fantastic. It's uplifting, it's catchy, it's just wonderful.
It is a good one.
Just
like, it does get you in the Christmas mood. However, I think there's this cliche about sleigh bells in Christmas songs. They do.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah, but it's just I'm not denying it. It does get you in the mood. It's very Christmassy. It's one that you can bob along to, and it's a good one, but not the best. I would advocate Fairy Tale of New York.
They got cars big as bars, they got rivers of gold, but the windows
Oh, really gets you in the Christmas spirit, doesn't it?
It's a classic.
You scumbag, you what?
You maggot,
You cheap, lousy.
I think it's so cliche. It's such a cliche. Everyone goes, "Oh, my favourite Christmas song is Fairy Tale of New York." You know the one that goes,
So
"Yes,
good.
I know the one that goes because everyone likes it."
But that is why, because everyone likes it. It's a bit different. It hasn't got the cliched sleigh bells. It's real. It's about real people. It's got
Okay,
such a
can I
good
just ask,
melody.
how many Christmases have you spent hooked up to a drip in a hospital because you've overdosed?
So relatable.
To me,
about
that is,
real people.
whereas when Shakin' Stevens says snow is falling, okay, I often imagine snow on Christmas Day. And
How many Christmas days have you seen with snow, Chris?
children
What?
playing, having fun, okay? Children playing, having fun is often how I've seen my Christmases. I've very rarely pictured my Christmases as I talk about having some sort of very odd relationship with someone who ends Christmas hooked up in a hospital to a drip because she's overdosed. But if that's relatable Christmas for you, Amy,
I never said it was relatable.
it's about
I
real
said
people.
It's not this idealised fantasy, and it's got the Pogues are just a great band. The Irish lilts in that song. Kirsty, what's her face? Her voice is just phenomenal.
Kirsty, what's her face?
I can't remember her name.
So much of a fan that you just don't remember their names.
You know what? It's not about the names. It's about the music.
So it'll be interesting, I think. I'm just going to say this now, and we'll see how Amy goes with the rest of the Christmas discussion. That Amy set out from the start that she doesn't want something that's sort of traditional in her Christmas song. She wants something that's different and a different sort of Christmas, not cliched, in her song. Let's see if it's continued in everything else. Otherwise, I might be coming back to the song.
I'm not saying about everything about Christmas should be not traditional. There's traditional aspects I love about Christmas, but I music-wise, I do like something that's a little bit different. My second favourite Christmas song, which is even more depressing, is War Is Over by John Lennon. Just because the music is phenomenal.
Is that depressing? Isn't that a good thing?
It's
War is
really
over.
not funny.
Sad that
But then
no
it's-
one is dying anymore.
Have you seen the video for War Is Over? It's
No,
one of
just
the most
sing it.
depressing things ever.
Because it reminds me of Christmas, so therefore it isn't depressing to me.
And the lyrics as well, and so that he's kind of saying, "Oh, this is great. The world is not exactly in a good place at the minute, and we're talking about Christmas and pretending everyth's happy."
Oh,
But isn't
that
that
segues nicely into my favourite Christmas song,
dear.
which is Band-Aid.
That is a good one.
That's a lie. It's actually not.
Oh.
I wanted to see if everyone would react. I actually don't like Band-Aid either.
Oh, see, that would probably be my third. I just like the depressing ones.
Lovely. All of the people dying. No, mine's definitely The Darkness, Christmas Time. Brackets.
Oh no.
Brackets. Don't let the bells end.
Don't let the
It's a Christmas song about a penis. Come on, like, how is
no.
it? How is
I've
it?
never heard of this one.
You would have
You've
heard it. It's awful.
Christmas time.
You are
don't
not
let the
editing that out.
bells end. Bells end. Bells end. Penis.
No.
It's a
Surprisingly,
It's-
on the 3 discs,
it's
now that's
awful.
what I call Christmas, it's not on there.
Okay, so we're just going to pause quickly. I want to play this to Chris.
You've got your career, spend the best part of last year apart, and it's
Right.
still hard.
Chris still hasn't heard of it. That's great. So,
And I'm obsessed with Christmas, and so I think that, therefore, it's not really worth it, is it?
I mean, I'm going to reiterate it one last time. It's a Christmas song about a penis.
Yeah, but what have penises got to do with Christmas?
Everything.
Actually, no, they've got everything
Exactly.
to do with Christmas.
Oh, actually, no.
The Virgin Mary
Famously
famously,
didn't.
had nothing to do with a penis. Christmas is fundamentally about the fact that a penis wasn't involved.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
So that's dropped.
We've excluded yours.
So
now.
either listen to the Pogues or Shakin' Stevens. There you go. Right. Sorry, Tom. Out on that one.
So, we touched briefly on tradition,
Yes.
which is something I love about Christmas. Like, everyone has their own traditions, their own things they do at Christmas.
House rules.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah. Like, things they do with their family that they talk about with their friends, and they're like, oh, don't you do that? So, what is your favourite Christmas tradition?
Mine is one, we do it every year. It's very niche. But we pack away the Christmas tree at the end of the year, and it's a plastic tree, so
Right.
we don't tend to get a normal tree. And every year we pack it away in the box, and every year my dad writes a little message on the box for next year's
Oh, that's cute.
for next year's family. Like, when we get the Christmas tree out, we open the box and we look, and there's the message saying, "This is what happened last Christmas."
Oh,
So
that's nice.
we've had all sorts of things. Everything that's ever happened in our family Christmas is on that box,
Oh.
written down, and it's not like on a piece of paper. It's written directly on the box. We've got loads of little messages. Don't know what's going to happen if we decide to get a new box.
See, this is the thing. I'm such an advocate for. So we've always had a real tree, so like a fir tree in our living room. And for the past few years, my mum's been on about getting an artificial tree, and I've been like dead against it because, for me, like, I just love the smell of the real tree. It is a pain when the needles shed, like, so much vacuuming.
Yeah.
But like, for me, that is just so Christmassy. But no, going back to your story time, your tradition, that is such a lovely way. Like, that's such a nice thing to do. And like,
I think it
that
kind of
tree-
adds a little bit more sparkle to not having a real tree. Because
Yeah.
like, a lot of the time, like we got that tree when I was very young. I mean, it's been there pretty much all of my life, and we've never had a real tree. A lot of that was because we had a dog, and we thought, like, with the needles on the floor and the dog's
That's
paws,
fair.
it just didn't want to risk anything there. And also just the effort that it would take to hoover everything up. But I think, yeah, like that, doing that message thing brings back a little bit of the Christmas spirit back to the Christmas tree, rather than just thinking, like, oh, we've got to build the Christmas tree again. But,
Yeah, no, that is so
You see,
lovely.
while we're on Christmas trees, and I feel we can go off on a tangent here. You see, I find our artificial Christmas tree is so perfect. And for me, it has a perfect Christmas tree shape. You can get so much more depth to it. I am really impressed by our Christmas tree. And each branch has to be slotted in. It's one of those ones.
Yeah, that's what we've got.
And there is, just as when I go to my grandparents and we used to go out into the fields, we'd pick a Christmas tree, we would then chop it down and you'd carry it in. That's lovely. And you've got that thing of sort of bringing the Christmas tree in. You have that sort of tradition, and that's lovely. Also, you have that tradition of, right, it used to be in the loft, the Christmas tree. So we would have to bring each of the branches down. So Dad would be in the loft, he'd pass them to Mum, we'd carry them down. And so by having an artificial tree, especially when you can't go and chop it down yourself, you go to a shop, you buy it, it comes into your house and it's there. Whereas there's something about, you come together, you have to build this tree together from the start.
Yeah, it's true.
And for me, it just has the perfect shape.
Fair.
So you decorate the tree.
Yes, it is my job in our household to decorate our Christmas tree. It always used to be, when I was younger, it used to be me and my mum, and we, like, one of my favourite Christmas traditions, what is myself and my mum always picking out a glass Christmas decoration to go on the tree, because we always talked about when I was younger having eventually all of the decorations on the tree being glass, just because we both really like them and we think they look really elegant. So that's one of my favourite traditions. And then now I kind of do it on my own, decorating the tree, but it always used to be me and my mum when I was younger. We used to put on like Christmas music and decorate it. Yeah.
Now, that's the strangest thing for me, because I'm at my grandparents for Christmas and they didn't have Christmas CDs, and so I have in my head that the Spinners, all their songs are Christmas because that's the album that would be put on. So there's all these songs that have nothing to do with Christmas, but because I've only ever heard those songs on Christmas Eve while decorating the tree, so whenever I hear them, they become Christmas songs.
On Christmas Eve, decorating the tree.
Yes.
Leaving it a little bit late, is it not?
So yes, at my grandparents, the tree comes into the house Christmas Eve, or the day before Christmas Eve.
Couldn't do that.
And there are This is one hell of a tradition. I'm not saying this is my favourite tradition, but the decorations, they have these paper streamers. They have a diagram that come with them, so you know where they go.
Brilliant.
And the diagram is dated 1985. So these decorations have gone up in exactly the same formation since 1985. So every year there's that nervousness. Is it quite going to reach? Is it just going to manage to reach? So yeah.
Perfect. What is your favourite Christmas tradition then?
My favourite Christmas tradition. It's quite a recent one, more so. Like, I love going ice skating. Now that I can ice skate.
Really? You can ice skate?
I can ice skate.
I don't know why, but that just oddly surprises me.
Yeah,
I just see you as like a Bambi on ice, just all over the place.
See, I was a Bambi on ice, and then I wasn't. I actually...
Wow, profound.
I was, and then I wasn't. What?
No, I went to this children's birthday party years and years ago, and Mum had to come onto the ice and just literally hold me because I just couldn't stand up.
Did you not get one of those little penguins, you know,
No.
that you hold on to? And...
No, because it was a party. They didn't. I had to use my mum as a support. But then someone taught me many years later, and from then on, I love ice skating. We used to go all the time to Guildford Spectrum by us at home, and always be ice skating. So I love ice skating. I'm not Ray Quinn on the ice. I know he's not professional, or Torval and Dean to be professional. But yeah, going to Hampton Court Palace, you've got the ice rink, you've got the palace. I mean, how magical is that? The songs are playing, it's a little bit chilly. That is lovely. It's becoming a tradition of Christmas to always go.
Okay. Make your own traditions. You're an adult now.
I know.
Don't say that, Tom, it scares me. I was one of those children that used to wake up at 5 and be like, come on, can I open my present yet?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, one of those kids, like, it always had to be... So my grandma always comes and spends Christmas with us. She lives in Lincolnshire and we live in the Midlands. So she's always there, and my nan used to come as well for Christmas. And we all go downstairs, and I'm like ready and raring to open the presents, and my mum's like, let's just have a bit of food, a cup of tea first. So she does like tea cakes and makes the tea. When I was younger, my dad always used to have to get the video camera ready.
Yeah, we always used to have, my dad used to film us walking, like they'd close the living room door and he'd film us walking in and opening the door and be like, wow, presents!
Santa's been!
I can just expect that those videos are massively underwhelming. It's just like, open the door like, cool, presents!
Also, have you ever watched them like since that Christmas?
The one Christmas video that I do remember is... So we were all sat around the Christmas tree. My sister had just been born. I think it was probably her first Christmas, and my parents had bought me like a pillow, like a really not like Thomas the Tank Engine or something like that as a pillow, and I opened it up and I went, oh, that's cool. Annabelle can have it, and I gave it straight to my sister. Just like my parents' faces, just handed off this present. Obviously, just don't want it at all. Like, oh, a pillow. Please find something less Christmassy. Yeah, I'm looking back at that and I'm cringing, thinking, God, I must have been a horrible child.
So that all goes to sort of worse Christmases, embarrassing Christmases. Amy, does that remind you of anything?
Well, there was one Christmas, it's not embarrassing as such, but there was one Christmas, and I think I got a 24-hour virus because I was fine on Christmas Eve and Boxing Day, felt absolutely fine. Christmas Day, I was just ill all day, like throwing up ill.
Oh,
It was,
okay.
yeah, it was really nasty. I think it was just like a 24-hour bug thing.
Well, you were
And I
so
got it on
excited about
Christmas
Christmas.
Day.
Yeah.
Maybe
This is
that was it.
Absolute adrenaline rush just tips you over the edge,
Maybe it
destroys
was,
your immune system.
Tinselitis.
Oh, Chris.
Bye, Chris. See you
Oh,
later.
no.
We'll find another flatmate.
You're slaying me with those puns.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Was that another pun? Oh,
Of course it was.
please don't descend into a pun off.
So there we go. So you threw up all over Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, nasty.
Well, not all over Christmas, just during
Metaphorically.
Christmas.
All over the concept of
It was
Christmas.
on the tree.
There's another one of your theatre things.
Oh dear.
Go on then, Chris. What's your worst Christmas?
Well, that is easy.
Oh, is it?
1 year, Mum and Dad thought it'd be great fun for Michael and I to have a joint present. And so they bought us a joint present. And they decided to tell everybody else to buy Michael and I the same joint present. So we'd have lots of this said joint present. The joint present was a scale electric. Which, yeah, it sounds amazing. And now I can appreciate that. Within a few hours of opening it, I could then appreciate it. But when I opened this present, and it was a scale electric, that I just thought, well, this is great. Michael loves cars. I don't love cars. This is just a present that is for Michael, but it was too expensive for Michael, so they need to give it to both of us. It was like, oh, okay. And then when I opened another present, and that was also scale electric for Michael and myself, and another one, and all I seemed to be getting for Christmas was scale electric. There might have been a bit of a temper tantrum. So therefore, the scale electric, this was 2 years ago. No, this was, must have been 7. I think we must have been quite young. Once it was set up, I'd been calmed down. I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed afterwards getting it out. But at first, I wasn't the most boyish of boys, and being given a scale electric. Thankfully, this wasn't on Christmas Day, because I open those presents after Christmas Day. So I have 2 Christmas days. Because we have Christmas Day at my grandparents', then Christmas Day at home, where I have those home presents. So it wasn't actual Christmas Day being ruined by this, but a few hours of our second Christmas was ruined by the fact that I didn't want a scale electric.
Fair enough. I think I'm probably going to go with my worst being that time that I did almost break my sister's wrist once. I don't remember how.
Deliberately?
I think so. I think she did something and I just flipped and I got a bit angry with her. But the only reason I remember this is because it was on the Christmas message from the previous Christmas. So we opened the box and it was like, yeah, Tom tried to break Annabelle's wrist. Oh, did I? So yeah, that's probably I don't remember that Christmas. I don't remember what I did for that Christmas, but that's probably not something that's going to go on the top of my list of things I enjoyed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that is fair. Okay, so we've talked a fair bit about bad presents, presents that we didn't particularly want. But what's the best present you've ever received?
Okay, I can't think of like the best present, because I mean, they vary, don't they? Like, what was the best present when you were
Yeah.
4? It's very different to what was the best present.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Like, I can remember I was so excited when I was given my easel. And I mean, it was a proper, like, it wasn't like an artist, it was an early learning centre.
Yeah.
Oh,
that-
yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
And it was purple, and so it was big, and it was bigger than me. It was about my height, and it had a whiteboard on one side and a chalkboard on the other with
I remember
this
these,
green
yeah.
thing that went in between. And I loved pretending to be a teacher, so this was just ideal. I had been given my own whiteboard. It was massive. I mean, having a present that big was so exciting. I think my iPod Nano would also be in that sort of league, and as much as whenever I look at photos of that Christmas, I'm just constantly wearing my iPod Nano. The earphones are in, and it's, look at me, I've got an iPod Nano, and I think someone managed to put like 2 songs on it, and so I was probably listening to the same 2 songs the entirety of Christmas Day because I was so excited that I'd got an iPod Nano. So I think from my childhood, there are 2 presents that really stand out of sort of having that excitement factor about them.
Fair enough. I think I'd probably say my sister and I once got the same present. It wasn't a joint present like yours and Michael's. We both got the same present, and it was a Nintendo DS it was like a DSi or something. One of the ones that was like a proto smartphone style thing. Like you could take photos on it and that sort of thing. And this was all like before we had smartphones and that sort of thing. So it was really, it was a really big deal to us. And I remember playing on that, and we all had our individual games, and we were doing like voice recordings on it and drawing pictures and sending them to each other and stuff. And yeah, there's a 5-year age gap between me and my sister, and I think at that kind of age, we were definitely like we didn't always see eye to eye, and so that was like, it's quite a nice memory of when we were younger and we got on and weren't like at each other, which is nice. I like that.
Oh, that was lovely. Okay, so mine was actually last year, and it wasn't. I think it was the sentimental value of this present. So my nan sadly passed away 2 years before. It's coming up to 3 years now, I think. One of the things she left me in her will was her ring that my dad and my auntie and my uncle got her for her 80th birthday, and all the granddaughters were left some jewellery, and I got this ring, and I've had it since then, and I'd wanted to get it fitted so that I could wear it for a long time, and last year at Christmas we finally got it done, and so now I wear the ring every day, and it was kind of part of my Christmas present for last year, and it had one of the diamonds missing in it as well, so we got that replaced. And yeah, I think that's something that's just become so special to me, especially being in Bristol, since that's where my nan grew up, so being at uni in Bristol, and yeah, it just all converging together was a really nice present to have, and a lovely way to remember her. And we do always remember her at Christmas time, because she often came to visit us at Christmas. So yeah, I think that would be my favourite present.
Lovely. We've spoken about presents, trees, traditions. For many people, we've missed out the most important thing about Christmas, which is obviously the baby Jesus. Sorry, no. Tom's face. You couldn't get that, but Tom was just looking, where is this one going? Food.
Absolutely.
Is baby Jesus food?
Nope.
Baby food.
Amy, bring us back where we should be.
I guess
Food.
he was born around a load of animals.
Dinner.
What is your favourite part of Christmas dinner?
Hands down, pigs in blankets. They are incredible.
Here.
You've got if they're done properly, you've got a nicely well done sausage that isn't burnt, some crispy bacon around the outside that just clings onto it, and a little bit of a glaze. I always like a little bit of maple syrup over the top when they're in the oven. Oh, they're just incredible.
And for me, they're good all day.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you eat them warm with your dinner.
Yeah.
They then get left. And you get to sort of 6, 7 o'clock and you're thinking, a bit peckish. You go into the kitchen and there's a tray, because when my uncle's done them, he does enough for an army rather than just the 13 of us. There's always more left, and you can go back and they're still tasty cold.
And you can stick them in a sandwich.
Sandwich.
Like next day, bit of lunch, Christmas pigs in blanket sandwich.
And they're so easy. You just hold it and
yeah.
Delicious.
Amazing.
I mean, there's no argument here. I'm with you, Amy.
Thank you very much.
Pigs in blankets.
All the way.
Go on then, Tom.
I'm thinking potatoes. Roast potatoes.
But you can have roast potatoes whenever.
They're not Christmas specific.
Pigs in blankets.
What
only come
What
out
else
at
in
Christmas?
a Christmas dinner is Christmas specific other than pigs in blankets? Like, surely that's
Turkey. Not many people.
Don't do turkey for Christmas. That's not a thing.
Do we all do turkey for Christmas? Because we've had chickens a chicken in the
chickens.
past.
They come and join us for festive dinner. Always seat at the table for Mr. and Mrs. Chicken.
We used to have a massive turkey at Christmas, but it means you have to get up so early. Not me personally, but my nan would used to get up at something like 4 or 5 o'clock to get it in the oven to start cooking, because it took so long. So we now just get turkey crowns, which are considerably cheaper. You can get them from Lidl, I believe. So Lidl is the shop to go, people. Thank you very much.
Wait, sorry, what is a turkey crown? I don't actually know.
No idea.
I think it's part of the breast.
Yeah, I think it's. Is it like the main body bit maybe? Or something?
Oh, so
Yeah.
it's just
as
as opposed to getting the full turkey, you get like the core turkey.
Yeah, and you have enough meat on that to feed everyone, and I believe it sort of keeps its moisture a lot better, and it doesn't cost nearly as much, and it doesn't take nearly as long to cook. And so that's what we do.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm still sticking with my potatoes. I don't really get enough time. I don't really have roast dinners often enough. They're not really a feature for me. And so, like, when it comes to Christmas, I know for a fact that I'll have my roast potatoes. And actually, controversially, I'm going to throw into the mix, I quite like Brussels sprouts, especially with some.
Actually, you know what? The Brussels sprouts you did last year for Flatmas were the best Brussels sprouts I've ever tasted. They were incredible. When they're done right, Brussels sprouts are amazing. If they're done wrong, then I don't want to know. They're disgusting.
Don't boil them. I think the trick there is don't boil them, because you lose all of the flavour. So blanch them or part boil them, and then fry them off with some chestnuts. Is it chestnuts? It is chestnuts, isn't it? Yeah. Fry them off with some chestnuts, then you can infuse that flavour. You still got a bit of crunch to it, and you don't lose all of the flavour, and you also don't lose the texture because it's gone all mushy and it's a bit gross. So
Tom's festive cooking book will be out in all good supermarkets and bookstores.
Tom can cook a very limited amount of food.
Were so good. I told my mum, actually, funny Christmas story, told my mum about your Brussels sprouts last year and how you did them with chestnuts. And she tried to do the same thing, but she tried to roast the chestnuts in the oven and she didn't pierce them. So we just had these exploding chestnuts. They exploded in the oven, and then she took the tray out, and they were going boom, boom.
Rebrand them as chestnut explosions. No, it's like chocolate surprise. Like, what is the surprise? Well, the surprise is that you don't know what it is. And it's like chestnut surprise is you're gonna have to duck and hide under the table because you're gonna get hit by chestnuts.
What if it explodes in your mouth?
That's what you want, isn't it? You want a taste explosion in your mouth.
You have to take the skin off, though. I think that was the point. She hadn't pierced the skin.
Shouldn't. Right, okay.
So they went.
So they were explode. Yeah, you wouldn't eat the skin. That's not something I would advocate. Don't eat the skin. Bit grim.
Chestnuts are a Christmassy thing, aren't
I don't think I've ever done them at home. It was only last year when I cooked them here.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. I don't think chestnuts have ever been a part of my Christmas.
No.
I mean, they are.
No, not me, really. Apart from last year.
Well, neither have sleigh bells, to be honest. So I mean,
or snow. Snow's not really been a feature either. That features quite heavily in a lot of Christmas themed things.
Yeah,
I remember one Christmas going out over not on Christmas Day.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say
within a couple of days it had snowed because we went out sledging. I can remember going out sledging, and it was during my time in Somerset for Christmas. We went on an old-fashioned wooden sleigh down these hills. It was amazing.
When I lived in Northern Ireland when I was very, very young, it snowed the first year we were there, and we were in temporary accommodation at that point. And I think the heating was rubbish, and my grandparents had flown over, and it was snowing, and it was obviously I was very young at this point, and my dad is always bitter because it was the rubbish snow that you couldn't really make snowmen with, and he was like, I wanted to make snowmen with you, but we couldn't do it because it was rubbish snow. Okay, Dad.
Snowed on Easter Sunday once. I can remember waking up Easter Sunday and it having a white Easter Sunday.
See, I don't really. Easter for me doesn't really clock. Like, I don't really do Easter in the same way that a lot of people do. I never remember an Easter day. I don't have any Easters in my mind that I can think of that was Easter. For me, it's just a period where you're not at school or not at uni or whatever. It's not a holiday for me.
You can all look forward to the fun discussion Tom will be contributing to our Easter special.
We are not having an Easter special. I don't hate Easter. It's just not something that obviously it features a lot more in your life than it does for mine, because obviously the connotations not the connotations, the actual cause of Easter is quite important to you, but for me that's just not something that features.
So, since it is hopefully Christmas Eve when this podcast goes out, a very Merry Christmas to all of you. Have a fantastic break, have a fantastic new year, and yeah, that's probably when we'll see you next. Thank you very much for listening.
Goodbye.
Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah, Merry Christmas. No.
I don't know why I did that. That was a bit weird.
That was a bit weird.
Thank you very much for listening.
If you want to get in contact, you can find us on Facebook. We're Mind the Flat Podcast.
On Twitter, we're at mindtotheflat_pod.
on Instagram at mindtheflat_podcast.
And if you want to respond to anything we've said in this episode or suggest a topic for another week, you can head to our Reddit, that's r/mindtheflat, and have your say there, or you can drop us an email at mindtheflatpodcast@gmail.com.
Boom, boom, boom.